What's going on, everybody? How's it going, Andrew?
It's going well. How's everybody doing? How you doing, Neo?
I am actually doing all right, bro. I went to a stretch class today. Or actually, I guess it's called Stretch Zone. So do you know like the I guess it's like a new trend where you go and the people like stretch you and
Oh, interesting. How was
yeah,
that?
it's not like yoga. I enjoyed myself. I was a little nervous at first because the dude was like sumo wrestler size. I
It
was
sounds like they got to put force into that sort of thing. So it's like forceful yoga.
Yeah, I was afraid it is. That's exactly what it is because it really got my blood going. And as you probably already know, like I used to do gymnastics when I was younger, and so I haven't really stretched like in a disciplined way since those earlier years, and now I feel like my body is just turning into an old man, and so I went to the stretch class, and the person stretching me out. I'm going to go again next week, and hopefully I can get my hips together because I want to get back into skating. I was
Okay.
roller like me and my spouse. We would go to the roller skating ring out here.
Nice.
Once the
The thing in
incident.
Atlanta, those places are fun in Atlanta.
Yeah, and actually, I rode past Cascades the other day, which was, it's an icon in the Atlanta area. But in Tulsa, it's skate land. That's a spot
Yeah.
that I grew up in. But I would always see people skating with their feet out, and so I've always wanted to do that, but I
Yeah.
can't do it because my legs just don't move that way. So,
you got to do the forceful yoga.
right, I got to do the forceful yoga to be able to do that. What about you? How's your day going so far?
Pretty good. It's sunny here. It's not too hot, not too cold, but it's definitely not too cold here in Oklahoma. So, but yeah, productive day. Just paying attention to the news right now. A lot of stuff going on as usual.
Right. A lot of stuff going on news. And if you're tuning in on our Substack, which is really what this is for, it's for our Substack audience. Already see folks tuning in. Let us know where you're at. Thank you for joining us at Black Ink Inside the Black Wall Street Times. I'm Nehemiah Frank, founder, editor in chief of the Black Wall Street Times, and this is my co-host today, Andrew, who is the marketing director at the Black Wall Street Times. So we
Yep.
got a busy day for y'all, a busy schedule, and I'm going to go ahead and just start jumping into the news. So on Monday, Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard made a major announcement. The U.S. government has just released 230,000 pages of files related to the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. These documents have been sealed by court order since 1977, hidden from public view for nearly a century. Why do you think that they would suddenly
I don't
decide
know.
to release all of these documents?
It's almost like people of all sides of the spectrum have been talking about one particular issue that we would like them to address, and they decided to throw us a bone. But hey, I guess we'll take what we can get. We'd also like the other thing, but yeah.
It seems like President Trump is throwing a lot of bones these days.
Yeah.
I heard that the family didn't get a chance to review all of the documents and that they were actually released early. So much so that Bernice King, actually, the daughter of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., civil rights icon, actually posted this on X.
I love it.
Really love it. Now do the Epstein files. I just don't understand why it's so hard to just not, why can't they just release these files? Like what are they protecting or who are they protecting?
I mean, I, do we want to get sued or like, yeah, I think we know. I think we all know who they're protecting. I think it's like if you paid attention to the history, we know the history at this point. But yeah, I mean the relationships there, the evidence is there. It's almost like at this point you can lead a horse to water. It's all as much as we're all looking for the validation and the vindication, but at this point we're also looking to hold people accountable. I think that's the biggest thing at this point. Now the question is anybody in the government at this point just going to get this out? I think there's a lot of rumors right now of just like the distrust within his administration. I think he's very paranoid and he doesn't know who to really trust when it comes to who does have the information and who doesn't. So, and not to mention, obviously, Elon, I think I don't think Elon saw anything, but I think Elon and him had some buddy conversations. So the hilarity that it was, like the putting that out there between in their little banter and then retracting, like, oh well, I think we're at this point where it's just like, all right, let's just rip the band-aid off and let us look at it. But I haven't seen any updates recently about wasn't it Ro Khanna that put forward the bill or legislation that was supposed to just like dump this. It was supposed to be all out there in the open. There's going to be no redactions, nothing. But I don't know if it was when it was getting voted on, scheduled on, anything at this point. So I know that was the conversation days ago.
Well, honestly, I haven't really even been keeping up with that. But what I will say is I know that President Trump has been doing a lot of distracting lately, and one of them even being today in the White House, and that is today in the Oval Office. President Donald Trump stood next to Filipino President Ferdinand Marcos and did what he does best: deflect, distract, and divide, with the pressure mounting over the newly unsealed Jeffrey Epstein documents and his own DOJ's request to re-interview some of the folks that are involved with this case. Trump did what he does best. He deflected, and of course, yesterday he deflected with the MLK files. And I want to say it was today that he released a video, an AI video that is extremely troubling. And we're going to take a look at that. So let's take a look at it right here, guys. Gotta love technology. Right. Let's see. How do we get that up? There we go.
It does look like we have an update as of a couple hours ago, so we'll go into that after.
All right. So this is the new infamous video that is going around that people are watching. And I am going to play it as soon as I get my screen together. All right, here we go.
No one, especially the president, is above the law. No one, especially the president, is above the law.
No one is above the law.
No one is above the law.
No one is above the law.
Nobody is above the law.
No one is above the law.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty crazy, bro. I don't understand why he is so obsessed with President Obama. But
Well, I think it comes down to he knows his bases. If we back up in his history, let's be very clear. He was still just the bumbling host off of a TV show until his racism during the Obama era got him political popularity for the first time that was actually tangible. And obviously the conversation circled early on in the 90s about him potentially running, but it wasn't actually viable until the racism during the Obama era actually came out in droves publicly and wanting to support somebody as audaciously racist as Trump has always been. So he's always used Obama as a scapegoat from the beginning of his political career at this point. That being said, what I just found basically says that the House just canceled the vote, the last day of votes before summer break, because they were going to be passing bill laws and on Thursday, and now they're just going to be recessing on Wednesday instead. So while there was supposed to be a vote taking place to potentially release these and change the rules on how they would kind of go about it, then not happening yet. So
That is horrible. I hate that.
Yeah.
You know, so today at the press conference, um, while he was, of course, deflecting, President Trump was deflecting in front of the cameras. One of the things that stood out to me that I hadn't heard for quite a few years is President Trump pronouncing President Obama's full name, and he actually said that today at the press conference. So he said he made it a point to say Barack Hussein Obama, but intentionally. And I thought it was very interesting how he signaled out Obama's middle name, Hussein, and he did it to the former president to remind America, especially white America, that Obama isn't one of us, that he doesn't have a name like John, which is, I believe, Trump's middle name, or William. And, you know, I think that he's an asshole for doing that.
Yeah, absolutely. He's playing into the racism he used during the 2000s when it came to 9/11. He's just tying it all up in the way that he's always packaged to distract from the pressure that's on him from not just the people against him, but his own base. His own base wants to see the Epstein files, and he is trying to just throw them every typical emotional gift that they've always enjoyed playing with to distract them like a shiny toy. So hopefully they focus and it doesn't work this time, and they can stay focused on, you know, his accountability and the Epstein files and everybody else that we all want to hold accountable.
All right. That's good. So the next thing that we want to talk about is an incident out of Florida. Some of our attorney friends are actually headed there now. We were going to have them on, but they are actually headed to assist Attorney Crump in another excessive use of force against a person of color in this country. And so we're going to take a look at this video. We're actually going to watch 2 videos. We're going to have a conversation about it. And then I also have a surprise that I want to talk with you, Andrew, about, and those who are watching. Something that I have to reveal to get off my chest that I have been waiting for a while. But let's go ahead and get this queued up. Let me see where it is.
Just to give context on this video we're putting up, if you've heard about this whole Jacksonville incident, almost everybody very quickly saw on social media the video angle from inside the car, from the actual driver, and as they start breaking into the car, and then they argued that it was out of context. So we do have the body cam footage in this video is going to be side by side with that footage that everybody's seen recently.
All right.
Yeah, Florida 24 Bravo Echo Charlie Whiskey on a silver Kia. I don't know how this.
Yes, sir.
Is there a reason why you're popping the door open like that?
I don't have a window that works. Is there a reason that you're pulling me over?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a reason why I'm pulling you over. For one thing, inclement weather, you don't have your lights on. 2 things, you're not wearing your seatbelt.
It's daylight.
3,
I don't need the lights. And it's not raining. It's not raining.
Oh, this is inclement.
It's not raining.
Okay, I'm not arguing with you. I'm telling you why I'm pulling you over. Give me your driver's license, registration, proof of insurance.
No, call your supervisor. Why?
Excuse me?
Call your supervisor. Why did you pull me over?
35. I'm property driver. I've already told you.
Why did you pull me over?
Step out of the vehicle.
No.
Step out of the vehicle. 25 seconds. For the 94, the driver just slammed the door and locked it.
Call your supervisor.
Yep. 25 seconds. If anybody responded, come in from Commonwealth, block the vehicle, please. Keep your hands where I can see them, sir. My camera's on too. I've already told you. Okay. Okay. Right now you're under arrest for resisting. You understand? You're under arrest for resisting. The longer you take us on, the worse it's going to be. Keep your hands where I can see them, sir. Okay.
Here we go.
Sir, this is the last warning to open the vehicle and exit before we're going to break the window. Open the door and exit, or we are going to break the window. Open the door and exit, or we are going to break the window.
Well, we're conducting a traffic stop right now. You need to.
No, he's under arrest.
Hey, a lot of on the footstep.
Open the door and exit. You are under arrest for resisting.
For the traffic stop.
Open the door and exit. You are under arrest for resisting. Open the door and exit. You are under arrest for resisting. Open the door and exit. You are under arrest for resisting.
Can you unlock the door and step out? I will. Can you step out? You're being done. There's a traffic stop being conducted. You're required to comply. Yes.
Just walked it up. Put the window down.
Correct.
Try to talk to
Huh? Okay. So what did he ask for when he I guess, talked to you?
When he pulled me over, he walked up, opened my door to my window over, right? And then I said, so what I did wrong?
Yeah.
He said, well, for one, your headlights are off under this weather. I'm like, there's multiple people headlights.
Okay, that's still
and then there's no rain.
It doesn't matter. You're still required to have headlights on.
Where, can you pull that law up?
Huh?
Can you pull that law
Yeah,
up?
when you step out of the car, I will.
Hey.
Can you call your supervisor?
Huh?
Can you call your supervisor?
All right, go for it.
Exit the vehicle now. Exit the vehicle. Show me your hands.
Here.
What is your reason, sir? What is your reason?
Step out now.
All right. No, don't fucking get on the ground.
Put your hands behind your back. Put your hands behind your back. What's wrong with you?
What do you mean? I was putting my hands behind my back. I was on.
Ain't no talking now, man. Ain't no talking.
That is wild. That's my first time watching the whole video. And it really just takes the breath out of me. My goodness. I can imagine that, you know, the second the officer told him to get out of the vehicle, the fear set in instantly. You know, like, what's going to happen? Am I going to make it home? You know,
Yeah, there's two things that always stand out to clips in this, or at least strategically, it seems like the police use. And again, I'm not a lawyer, but it just seems like it stands out. Is one, when they start to use this kind of back and forth about you're resisting. One, it's supposed to be resisting arrest, right? Like he's in the car just waiting to diligently understand why he's pulled over still. And now we're saying he didn't have his headlights on, but he's not resisting being pulled over. Like if he's at this point, he's allowed to have a conversation as a citizen back and forth. What is the reason where's the probable cause to pull him out of the car at this point? All I heard was it's raining outside and he doesn't have his lights on. So why do you have to pull him out of the car at all? Where's the probable cause in that at all? Because they immediately just jumped to he's resisting arrest when they had nothing to be arrested for. And so they always seem to use that without filling in the sentence because they're rushing to immediately seem like they had an arrestable offense, but they never did. What was the arrestable offense he's resisting? He's waiting to just find out more information. He's waiting for your supervisor, and y'all just skip over that. And he has the right to request a supervisor. I know that.
You know, another thing that I found really interesting is, and I don't know if it was, let me just try to see if I can just kind of go back just a little bit to the other vehicle that had pulled up in front.
Yeah.
So
right.
If you notice the police officer that pulled directly in front of him, that officer did not have his headlights on.
Right. They even said, he said other people don't. He's like, it doesn't matter. So basically, this isn't legally something that everybody has to be enforced on. You're just deciding that you want to pull me over because my headlights are off. And again, it is daylight. Like, why does he have to have his headlights on? Where's
Yeah.
that sign saying I have to have my headlights on right now?
I think another thing too is he could have simply just said, "Hey, I need you to turn on your headlights."
Right? Yeah.
It,
Yeah.
that was such a simple command would have avoided, such a embarrassment really to this police department. But it would have saved this man from having to have to undergo this type of trauma that he's had. And so I want to bring to your attention, and I'm sure you probably have had incidents with police officers. My first encounter with a police officer was when I was 5 years old, and I was laying in the back of my parents' car. We were traveling, a long distance, and I just remember waking up and seeing the police officers on both sides of the car approach the vehicle with their guns drawn.
Mhm.
And I remember how terrified I was as a 5-year-old seeing this. Like I can close my eyes. I'm 42 now, but I can close my eyes and literally remember, uh, how I felt in that moment, how I felt unsafe, and how I felt that um, my parents' lives could be taken at any moment. Um, Fast forward into the future, I have never ever had unless the officer knew me personally, I have never had a positive encounter with a police officer whenever I've gotten pulled over. Never in my life. Um, I remember there was this one lady who had a car accident. She couldn't speak English, and the officer was just going off on her. It's a white police officer, and I tried to step in to explain what I had seen and that it wasn't her fault. And he shouted at me and told me to get back in my car and drive away because he wanted to deal with the entire situation, himself, like the control. He wanted to control that situation. Um, I remember there was a time with my mom and we were on a road trip. This was like, I think it was like my first year being a teacher. And I wanted to take my mom to New Orleans. It was her birthday. Did this road trip, and I remember getting pulled over in Louisiana. I think I was going like 83 miles per hour in a 75, y'all. And the police officer told me to get out of the vehicle. Had no reason to tell me to get out of the vehicle. All he could have just said, "Hey, you were speeding, slow down," or "Here's a citation," or "Here's a ticket." But he wanted to escalate it. He wanted to control me and put the fear into me. That's what I believe what was happening in that moment, because I don't believe that there was any type of um, reason for him to pull me out of the vehicle, right? So I just complied. I want to make sure that I go home. My one of my best friends and mentors lost her twin brother, Terrence Crutcher, and so I don't want to, one, lose my life, but two, I don't want my community or family to have to deal with that type of trauma again, because it was very painful to have to deal with it as a community.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
and so I got out of the car. I walked, he said, walk, to the back of the car. I actually walked with my hands up. And I guess he thought that that was extra. So he was like, "Why are your hands up?" And said it in such a, um, demeaning way.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you, I grew up in Atlanta, obviously, and I have a lot of experience with cops, but I can tell you the earliest memory I have and experience seeing a person of color deal with cops, because it is also the first time I saw somebody got shot.
Mm.
And so I won't go vividly into detail because I know this can be graphic for a lot of people, but I'll give the highlights of it. I was 10 years old, and my family decided we were going to drive to Macon, Georgia to get me a puppy. Drove the 2 hours, pulled up to a light, and we were about 10 minutes from the farm. And I looked right outside the car, and there was a cop car pulled over the sidewalk and a cop standing over the hood of his car pointing at a man standing on the sidewalk about 15 feet down the road. And my brother rolled down his window slightly, and we could hear him yelling, "Get on the ground, get on the ground." And the guy wasn't moving. We couldn't really hear what he was saying, but there was a slight movement, and the cop shot 4 times. And
Wow.
at 10 years old, we watched him drop to the ground, and my mom screamed, was like panicking, yelling at my dad to drive. And he drove off, And my mom turned around because we were behind the cop, but she was just so concerned about, was everybody okay?
Mhm.
And me and my brother just kind of looked at each other. Was like, yeah, we're okay. And her reaction immediately was like, oh my gosh, y'all are never playing videos again. I can't believe that didn't affect you more. But it was more, I think, just at 10 years old, we didn't register what we were seeing. And that memory has stuck with me for my entire life when it comes to talking to people about their stories with how they interact with cops. Because even to this day, I didn't see that person do anything that justified what I saw.
That excessive
Did he
force.
move slightly? But the subjectiveness of that was so harsh and life altering, obviously, for at least one person, but something that could stick with anybody. And again, trauma for a community in so many different ways that it's just one of those things that you see over and over again. How, and again, I've had firsthand experiences as a white person. I've dealt with dozens of experiences with cops where they've taken it easy on me or the people I'm with. I've watched those firsthand. This is not subjective or like we've all know it's not just data. It's anecdotal for a lot of us who have just been in these communities. And it's important to acknowledge and hear the stories of the people that are on the harsher side of that, because downplaying it from the anecdote that, oh, a cop's nice to me is not enough in situations like this. There's way too much at stake when it
Right.
comes to not just, again, anecdotes, but data. The data speaks for itself alone. And these cases are all too common. And that's why the second part about this video, if you want to pull it back up, we can, but was really that moment where as they immediately start punching him and pulling him out, they're consistently yelling, stop resisting.
Yeah.
And as much as they want to gaslight us in this clip, there's no gaslighting. He is not resisting.
At
He is
all.
going to the ground. He is pulling to the ground. He is putting his hands behind his back. He is not resisting. And that they are saying it out loud out of training. They're not doing it because he's resisting. They know that is plausible deniability when they go to court on the body cam. The more it's moving around, the more chaotic it is, and they can yell that. And it's just something I think at this point, like, again, as society, we have to acknowledge it's taking place, and there has to be some accountability behind it. And them just downplaying like it was legally justifiable doesn't make it okay at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, as a reporter, we're both journalists. It is definitely difficult to write about these types of incidents, especially when you are a Black person or a Black man who has encountered this multiple times. You've seen it happen to other people in your community. You've dealt with it. But I wanted to show you a video. And this is the first time I'm actually talking to anybody about this besides my spouse. And of course, all of the people that are watching on Substack and across social media. You guys get to see this firsthand of me on my way back from Oklahoma. I had been gone from home for about 3 weeks, working in Oklahoma, working in Detroit. I think I went to DC for a week to try to do some policy advocacy work there, and then I came back home. And I was getting homesick, so I was just like, you know what, I'm going to go. It's time for me to go. I like to drive early in the morning. And so I went through Sallisaw and I actually got pulled over. And it was a horrible experience because the officer, again, told me to get out of the vehicle. This officer had no reason to tell me to get out of the vehicle. As soon as I got into this officer's car, the officer tells me, I know that you have weed in the car. I can see it right now from here. My trunk is closed. Everything is, closed. It's still dark outside. And he just said, he said, why are you nervous? And he kept asking me why I was nervous. And one, I'm a Black man, right? And I'm getting pulled over. It's like 5 a.m, 4 a.m. The sun is like, the dawn is starting to break in the sky. And we're in Sallisaw. We're in a very white, rural part of the state. And I'm isolated. I'm by myself. I don't have anybody with me but my dogs. My dogs were in the car, and they're little tiny dogs. They're not even they're lap dogs, a pug and a Yorkie. And I just kept thinking to myself, man, if he takes me, then, what's next? But that officer was trying to escalate that situation with me.
Yeah.
Because he said, cut the shit. I know you're lying. I can see the weed in your car. I can see there's something tucked under. And so he said, mind if I Mind if I search your car? By the way, I told the officer, I said, I don't even smoke weed. That's what I told him. And if he would have tested me, I would have been, I would have been negative at that point. But actually I said, sure, because the pressure of having to always be perfect as a Black person when it comes to the law is exhausting. And so this is a video of that, of him actually searching my vehicle. Hold on 1 second. Let me get that. If I can get it queued up. There we go. So when he decided to get out of my vehicle, he's going through all of my things. He swears up and down that he's going to find something, and he doesn't find anything. But my dignity is gone at that point. It's like you're going through my suitcase, you're going through all of my things.
Yeah, it's guilty until proven innocent at this point.
Yeah, guilty until proven innocent. And I mean, you couldn't even smell weed. There was none of that. I was just trying to get home. I had been gone for work for 3 weeks. I actually attended my grandmother's funeral. But this is what it is to be Black in America. Like, how many times does this happen to Black folks every single day? And the police officers escalate the situation. There was no
right now
cause for him to go and search my vehicle.
Yeah, or in particularly right now with ICE, people of color of all sorts. It's just what we're dealing with right now in particular is escalating.
See how he's lifting up? Like, he's really going hard, man. He's looking. And the fact that he cursed at me when I was in the vehicle, he just said, bullshit, I know you're lying to me. He actually said that to me. And I'll never forget like how that officer made me feel in that moment, because I didn't deserve that, and there's a lot of gaslighting that does happen. And so we're actually going to watch that clip, and then we're going to end on a good note, y'all.
Well, not only that, and again, not just gaslighting, they are legally allowed to lie to us. Like, they're allowed to set up the situation and try and get it to admission. And I personally think that's completely not okay. But drop in the chat what you think.
All right, so let's take a look and see what the sergeant actually said. So we're going back to Jacksonville, Florida.
Okay. Yeah, this is the press conference.
All right, you guys can't see it yet. Let me try that one more time. There we go.
Of William Anthony McNeil Jr.'s arrest on February 19th of 2025. Yesterday, while I was in church, JSO became aware that cell phone camera footage purportedly of this arrest was circulating on social media. In my direction, the agency immediately began both a criminal and administrative review of the officer's actions. These administrative reviews are ongoing, but the state attorney's office has determined that none of the involved officers violated criminal law. Even though the administrative review has yet to be completed, we are releasing the body-worn camera footage today because Officer Bowers has consented to its release and waived his officer's bill of rights pertaining to the discrete piece of evidence. Because the administrative review is pending, the officer's bill of rights prevents me from releasing any additional information beyond these videos, as it is confidential under Florida Statute 112.532. As JSO's leader, I have vowed to be open and transparent with the public that we serve. Whether the information shared reflects well in this agency or not, I have always done my very best to tell the public exactly what's going on within the agency. When there are allegations of officer misconduct, our agency thoroughly investigates those allegations. When allegations of officer misconduct are sustained, we hold officers accountable, as I've done many times in the past. In this case, the cell phone camera footage that began viral circulation over the weekend does not comprehensively capture the circumstances surrounding this incident, and that is to be expected. Part of that stems from the distance and perspective of the recording cell phone camera. Another part of it stems from the fact that the cell phone camera did not capture the events that preceded Officer Bowers' decision to arrest McNeil. Moreover, cameras can only capture what can be seen and heard. So much context and depth are absent from recorded footage because the camera simply cannot capture what is known to the people depicted in it. As a 33-year law enforcement officer, I understand the importance of thorough and complete investigations. One piece of evidence considered in a vacuum without any context can lead to skewed conclusions. When incomplete cell phone camera footage becomes the basis on which public opinion turns, the results can be equally faulty. A rush to judgment, whether it be in a criminal investigation or in a court of public opinion, can lead to flawed conclusions. Tonight, I'm sharing the footage from the body-worn cameras of the arresting officer, Officer D. Bowers, and two of the assisting officers, Officer D. Miller and Officer G. Curse, so that the public has more complete understanding of this incident. Before I deliver the currently available information and play the relevant body-worn camera, I want to be clear about something. Yes, there absolutely was force used by the arresting officers, and yes, that force is ugly. But as I've said many times before, the reality is that all force, all violence is ugly. And just because force is ugly does not mean it's unlawful or contrary to policy. But moreover, I want to provide the public with some background information pertinent to this incident. Since January 1st, 2025, Jacksonville Sheriff's Office has been involved in.
So
at that point,
obviously, we're allowed to do it. We get that part. And thank you for releasing the body cam footage so we could know that we were gaslit during this press conference, because it didn't show anything.
You know, it just goes to show that all skin folk ain't kin folk, as we like to say in our community, because you're gaslighting everybody who sees that footage.
He put that entire, like 2/3 of that was talking about how it's all just like out of context cell phone footage. And fortunately, we just started with a side-by-side, because I honestly don't think the body cam footage made it look any better, if not worse.
It made it look worse. I agree.
What part of the body cam footage does he feel vindicated? But you also hear he didn't use the word justifiable, or that it was like the it's ugly, it's this, but it's lawful. Okay, yeah, we get it. You're allowed to do it. But where in the moment of that body cam footage can you tell us he deserved, or that was even like, that was vindicated to even respond that way?
Right.
Why is that not the conversation that he's having to hold them accountable? Instead, we get to hear his resume after he gaslights us.
It's going to be interesting to see how this unfolds as the attorneys can collect their work and collect the evidence and do their due diligence. And we'll have to see what happens here. I hope that this young man gets justice, because, you know, it could have been de-escalated very easily. But I think that that police officer, like many of them, was on a power trip. So anyways,
I want to add to that real quick. This is very important. Why it's important for people with smartphones to have tools that will document your encounter, and not just, turning on the camera, because that video can be deleted by the police. I've mentioned it before. There are apps that do this. There are ways to set up on an iPhone, like free shortcuts to do this. I do have that available, like as a download for free for people. But in particular, there are tutorials. You can ask ChatGPT, set up the ability to, when police encounters you, you tell your phone or you pull out that app to record it, and then it sends it to somebody else or uploads it to the cloud, so that evidence cannot disappear, or you're not waiting on the department to release that evidence to you after months. And so that's, I think, extremely important for people. What can I do in this situation? Yes, video record it, but look for the options that are going to pass that video on to somebody else if they stop the video immediately, so they don't have control on where that goes afterwards, and you can get defended tomorrow, not 6 months down the road.
That's good. Maybe you can teach us do a digital class for everyone.
Absolutely, yeah. And like I said, my website's MrEarthyBirth.com. It is a tool under the tools for you section. It's completely free. There's instructions on my Substack on how to set it up for Android also, but it's not a charge thing. It's all just to help people. So
thank you so much for joining us today, bro. We got a lot of people on Substack right now. I wish that we could pull the Substack comments onto the screen, because y'all are over there chatting it up. It was total bullshit. That's right. But also, if you see the little banner scrolling at the bottom, y'all, we're the Black Wall Street Times. We're rooted in Tulsa, but we speak to the world. Some of us are in Tulsa reporting. Some of us are in Oklahoma City or Norman or across the country. We've been going since 2017. And if you would like, we would love for you to support us by subscribing to our Substack and buying something from our store. I had the mug, bro. I forgot.
You lost the mug already.
I'm gonna bring the mug tomorrow so you guys can actually see what types of merchandise that we have at our digital store that supports the Black Wall Street Times. So my mug just came today. Have not opened it. I was planning to open it today, but I did not. But yes, support us. You can do it for $80 a year. You can do it for $8 a month, or $250 to become a founding member. And thank you so much for joining me, brother.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Well, we're going to keep this train moving, y'all. I have a special guest coming up, a good friend of mine's. And so we're going to start it off like this. Circle Cinema just turned 97. Circle Cinema is a movie theater that has been in Tulsa for 97 years. And they celebrated in a big way recently. Last week, the Tulsa Landmark unveiled 4 new medallions on its Walk of Fame, which is its version of the Hollywood Stars in Tulsa, honoring legendary Oklahomans who've made their mark on the film industry. And so the honorees included Hollywood actress Vera Miles, Tulsa filmmaker and screenwriter Hank Bird, the late Academy Award-winning actor and rodeo cowboy Ben Johnson, and acclaimed production designer William F. Matthews. It was a powerful moment. The public ceremony brought out the honorees, their families, and the community to celebrate their trailblazers. And after the unveiling, folks gathered for cake, refreshments, and a lot of storytelling. Hank Bird, one of this year's honorees, said it best: Circle Cinema has always been at the forefront of inclusivity and a champion for independent filmmakers. This award is an honor and a full circle moment for me. That is what Hank said. So the event was part of the annual Circle Cinema Film Festival, which continues to shine a spotlight on Oklahoma's deep roots in film and storytelling. And joining me in conversation this evening is Tulsa-based filmmaker Hank Bird. What's up, bro?
Hey, bro. What's going on?
I'm doing well. How are you? And congratulations on your award.
Thank you so much, man. I'm doing well. Thank you.
How did it feel to like see your name on the marquee and then to actually see your name printed in the stone, in the ground in Tulsa? Like, how did that feel? I know that had to have been.
It was surreal.
In a moment.
It was a surreal moment. My first time going to Circle Cinema, I remember looking at the little Walk of Fame out front, and that was years ago. And I had said to myself subconsciously, "Hey, I'm gonna get my name out there one day," And I don't think I had made very many films at that point, but I was meeting with Clark, the owner of the Circle Cinema, and he met with me after I had won at Bare Bones Film Festival like a few nights before, and he wanted to meet me to see how we could get more African Americans into Circle Cinema to watch movies. And I said, well, you got to show us some stuff that we want to see. We're not going to come out for a French expressionist film or anything like that. We want to see certain things, but also was talking to myself like, well, I need to start making things that could be shown here at Circle Cinema and around Tulsa. So it was a twofold conversation. So from that meeting with Clark, I embarked on trying to make more films and films accessible to Black people, and the making of films accessible to Black people in Tulsa.
That is good. So we're going to check out some of these clips, y'all, from Hank, so y'all can see how talented this brother is. So just give me 1 second, and we're going to look at some of these films. We'll have some discussions about them. We'll start with the one that featured my apartment. I don't know if you remember that, but I certainly remember I were in my apartment filming.
Yes.
I no longer have that apartment. Thank God. God has bumped me up. I moved to the west side, so
right.
Things are a little bit better now. But yeah, let's take a look. It was super surreal seeing all the cameras in my house that day. I'm going to start off with Blurs.
the owner of Brand Advertising, has been arrested.
It's okay, guys. Just a little misunderstanding. What the fuck is going on?
Brand Advertising employed over 200 men and women whose jobs are uncertain.
You got fired? Nigga, they can't fire me.
They just dragged you out the building. It just looks like you got fired, that's all I'm saying. Hey, you remember that comic book that we started?
Subatomic Sam.
Yeah, Subatomic Sam.
Yeah, what about?
We should revisit that.
So you mean to tell me that you want to start up a comic book?
Yes. I'm talking about starting a comic book company.
Do I look like I'm hurting for money?
You tell me anything about money?
Man, get the fuck out my shop.
It was good seeing you, man.
Black Power.
Black Power.
Wow, that's crazy. I can't believe it's been just 5 years, really?
5 years, yeah, it's been a long time.
That is insane how fast time flies. So if you hear my dogs barking, that is because my spouse just came home, and this is Substack, y'all. So this is not a television studio. I'm a real person. So yeah, but we got some other stuff, some other films. So you mean to tell me that in 5 years you had gone from that to producing a film that featured this guy? And just don't give it away. Let me share this. Let's see where we at. Let's see. Make sure we put the right clip up. All right. So 5 years later, actually 4 years later, this is insane to think how fast.
No thanks, detective. Insomnia, high blood pressure, anxiety. So you're one of those guys, huh? I'm a swig of bourbon, pills of weed in the morning type guy. That stuff will kill you too, but it's a lot more fun. Oh, I don't suppose either of you have a spliff or a stiff one on you.
No, sir, we don't.
Just tested. Good work, detective. Hey, listen, I didn't get any sleep on the plane. You mind if I close my eyes? Knock yourself out. Well, you scared of flying? No, I love it. These flight attendants on these private jobs, they play with enough booze to put your lights out, but there was no flight attendant.
Well, we can take you by your hotel, give you a chance to get some rest, and maybe.
Oh, no. I want to go straight to HQ. I want to be on a plane and out of here by the end of the week, you know? But looking at the file, I want to spend as much time on this one as I possibly can. You play golf, detectives?
A little bit. You?
Occasionally. You?
No.
If you dig any more holes in that boneyard, you can have a back nine.
Wow, that is amazing. So, like, as a young, when you were a kid, did you ever think that or get some feedback? I don't know where this came from.
Mm-hmm.
I think it might be me. But really quick, as a kid, did you ever think that you would grow up and be in this industry and making waves like you're doing now?
Yes and no. Yes and no. I knew that I would be involved in film some type of way. I originally wanted to just be a writer. I wanted to be a writer. I just, I had the dream that one day I'm gonna write the great American screenplay. They're gonna pay me a bunch of money, and and I'm gonna live happily ever after, in my mansion or whatever. But yeah, that rarely happens to anybody. I always say you got a better chance of getting struck by lightning in the same ass cheek than to somebody pay you a lot of money for a script. And so I became a filmmaker out of necessity. I started being a director and producer and all that out of necessity because, as many people know, it's just hard to get your own content put out there or get somebody to put money behind your content. And with that clip you showed, Boneyard, I was actually a writer on that film. I wasn't a producer. I was a writer on that film. And when I wrote Boneyard, because I wrote the initial probably 4 drafts of that screenplay, I had no idea who was going to be in it. So I wrote it on spec, meaning you don't know who's going to be in it. And once I got the news who all was going to be in it, I was like, wow, that's incredible. I didn't know that my work or our collective work would attract that type of actor, but it did. And so I'm really glad that the film did as well as it did, and we were able to get all over the world with that film and get good feedback on it.
Wow. Well, brother, I'm so happy we had a chance to talk tonight. Thank you so much for joining me on our platform, the Black Wall Street Times. I know we've written about you extensively, but you and I have never really had a conversation about this. I wish that we could talk longer. We're going to have you back on so we can talk more. And we actually had 2 more clips to show you, but there's some audio issues. And so we definitely don't want to annoy anybody with the audio issues. But Hank, congratulations on your star in Tulsa and your medallion. We appreciate
it. Thank you, man. I really appreciate that. I just, on the bigger and better things, working on new projects, and just can't wait to, get more stuff out to you guys.
Are you allowed to share what's coming up in the near future?
Well, currently, I have my book out, Love Bites, currently available, Kindle, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Lulu Bookstore. That's a speculative fiction book of 7 short stories. And writing another book right now called 6 to Midnight. It's going to be a very, very, very controversial book. It's going to deal with some of the issues you guys talked about in the earlier section about police brutality in small towns with African Americans. So it's going to be a very controversial story. Wow. And also working on another script project. Got that one. I got to keep a little hush hush, but yeah.
So listen, I don't know what happened, but your audio seems to be working a little bit. It's working better. So do you mind if we share one more film?
Of course.
Good to go. Okay. So we're going to share one more film. We'll talk about that, and then we can call it an evening. 1 second, y'all.
I think I want to have a baby.
You think?
I know.
How we gonna live our best life?
Objection!
Overruled.
Once you have kids, it's a wrap. What concessions did you ask for?
I asked her for a threesome.
Like 1, 2, 3? That is a contract. I want a baby. You want a threesome.
Where I sign?
I don't have a good feeling about this.
Sex with your wife and another chick, that's like the unicorn of man. 1 in a million.
I'm a senior. I go to Melville High.
Nope. Get that back in there.
I'll pair you with one of my experienced dancers.
Excited.
I ain't no flower horse.
Sharp, sharp. You gotta be doing a threesome with a man.
1, 2, 3.
Big D. Big D's popping tonight.
Wow. It's amazing to know that, someone in our community is actually producing at this high level. So you are inspiration for so many of us, bro. So what's that? So what is that film like? How does one go from, a dream to reality in this industry? That's brutal for a lot of folks.
One, you don't quit. You don't quit. I just never quit. When I got started, most people fall off, Nehemiah, most people will fall off probably in the first 5 to 6 years. If it don't happen for them, they usually fall off. A lot of my comrades that I was in the screenwriting trenches with over a decade or more ago, they're not doing it anymore because it just didn't happen for them. And there's no such thing as overnight success. It just doesn't, it's not that way. It's just a lot of overnight failures that will lead you into success eventually. So yeah, it was a lot of networking. It was a lot of being of service to people. A lot of people, they get into the business, especially as a writer, and they're trying to figure out, how can I get on and how can I get some money? When you need to look at it, how can I be of service? How can I help out a producer? How can I make myself available to work? And then those opportunities will come, and a lot came from me, just by helping out producers, touching up scripts, punching up scripts, doing some script doctoring, editing jobs. Those led me to the jobs that I wound up getting myself into. They recognized the skill, they recognized the work, and so when it was my turn, they put me out front. They put me in the game, and so that's why I am where I am today. I didn't quit.
Mm-hmm. So listen, we got one more film, and the reason why I'm going to show this last piece is because we have a bunch of folks that are just hanging out on Substack, and now they're giving us a whole bunch of hearts because they're happy that we're continuing. So we're going to do this last one, and then we'll officially call it a night. Hold on, let's get this queued up. Make sure that we have audio for this.
So certainly as I've gotten older, I see that men love us. They love our curves. Of course, again, relative, right? Every man has his own preference. So some men are going to want a woman who's a little bit smaller, a lot smaller. Some women like women who are very, very large. I mean, it's relative, it's subjective. But I think, especially being a woman of color, a Black woman, also moving in the Latin community at points, men in those communities and demographics like. And yeah, I look around too sometimes, and I think, wow, a woman with curves is so beautiful. Not that women who are smaller aren't, but as I see women I can identify with, that helps me to be more confident and bold and say, wow, I can identify. Because it was that lack of identification, I think, in the past that limited me in my self-image and self-esteem in part. So now, yeah, I'm a lot more open with my sexuality, with being involved with a man and understanding that he will appreciate who Tennille is.
Wow. So tell me, I do remember that film, and I remember the chatter in the social media world of Pride that Black women of different sizes, but mainly full size Black women, how good they felt, that you had taken time and made space for them to make such an incredible documentary. Do you want to talk a little bit about that before we?
Yeah, that was my documentary, In the Thick, Conversations from the Plus Side of Life. And initially, I wasn't going to do it. I kind of got cornered by some of my plus size homegirls, and they were like, "You need to do a documentary about us." And I was like, "Absolutely not. I'm not doing that. I'm not, because I'm a man. I don't want no smoke. I don't want nobody to come after me and say I'm, pandering, or I'm trying to, any of that. I didn't want nobody to come after me for that. But then once I started really doing my research and like talking to the women that were involved, there was 14 women involved in this project. And, Tennille Bent, who you saw, Jerica Wortham, Miko. It was like a lot of women that I knew that were in my circle, my friends, we'll call my sisters, who I decided to go ahead and interview and just really get their inner thoughts about being women of color for the most part, and being, plus size and what comes with that. And what people don't understand is the average woman in the United States is a size 14, but we don't see that represented in popular media. Wow. Unless that woman is either over sexualized or she's the butt of the joke. She's not seen as sexy or sexual in a healthy way, and often made to be the loud, funny friend. And I said, that won't do. So I made sure that when I made this documentary, even when I made blurs, that I was, using women of different sizes and shapes in there. Now I'm a father of 3 daughters, who are different sizes and shapes. And I thought it was really important to, give these women a voice and let them talk about, sex and clothes and entertainment and what they see and culture. And I thought it was just real important to do that. And so I'm glad it went well. I'm glad people really latched on to it, and it started a whole movement here locally, and it spread out nationally, and the film did well.
Wow. Well, bro, I guess it's that time. We had an hour. We're a minute over schedule, but I didn't want to rush you because I believe that everything that you needed to say, somebody out there is gonna take it at value. So I want to say congratulations again, and I appreciate you. I know there are a lot of people in the community that look up to you and appreciate what you've done for not only adults or plus size women, but for kids in the community. So I hope that God continues to bless you and you continue to be a blessing to so many others, bro.
Thank you, brother. I really appreciate that. Thank you. And just, Black media has always been the heaviest supporter of me. And I love and appreciate you guys for embracing me and reporting about me. So thank you so much.
Absolutely. All right, man. We'll see you later. All right, y'all. That is it. Remember, don't forget to subscribe. If you enjoyed this evening, we're going to try to actually do this every single night, 5 days a week. Now, there might be some days where I'm tired and I just don't feel like getting on camera, but this is Substack. So, it is what it is. But your contributions, they go to support Black media, the Black Wall Street Times, and the many contributors, our managing editor, folks who do the graphics, the photographs, all of that. Your funding goes to keep us independent and to keep us going and to allow us to be able to talk about issues that traditional media cannot talk about. I am Nehemiah Frank, founder and editor in chief and host of Black Ink inside the Black Wall Street Times. Until next time, peace out.